Hi everyone. So in this video we're gonna talk about Hulda Clark. I just did a little video about the Herbal Fiber Blend by Teresa Schumacher and Tony Schumacher. And so here I talked about this book, which I read a French translation of it in Quebec in 2004 and discovered the Herbal Fiber Blend. And I was saying like how this started my journey in order to cure my body and invent regenerating nutrition. This was really the thing that allowed me to clean my colon, get a regular bowel movement, and eliminate some very nasty waste material. And then I was able to assimilate the good nutrient, antioxidant, and vitamins, minerals that were in whole food and natural food. And this is how my journey to invent regenerating nutrition started. Fortunately, this product, Herbal Fiber Blend, was a certain recipe in 2004, but today you cannot find this product commercially anymore. And so I talked about that in the last video. If you want to check that out, I invite you to do. Today we're going to talk about Dr. Hulda Clark, which is not a medical doctor. She was a doctor in hearts, but she conducted very interesting experiment. Like in this video here, she shares a little bit of her experience before she died, and always very generous. Dr. Hulda Clark was open for everyone to have his knowledge and his book. So she's willingly giving away her information without copyrights or whatever. She is very generous. And so we're going to talk about the link between my journey, which connected all of these dots together. Like I didn't discover Hulda Clark before 2019. I discovered her because of the lockdown during the COVID. I was inside and looking for information on the internet and found out her book, The Cure for All Diseases. And so her book, The Cure for All Diseases, came out, in 1995, and if you've never heard of that book, there may be some questions to ask about, the world in which you live, because if you look at the title here, The Cure for All Diseases, I mean, this has tremendous potential for human beings. Why is it that you don't hear about that? And now I invite you to go on that journey and find your own answers, because this is something you should ask yourself. This works for sure, and there are many good information like that I can confirm just based on my own experience and my own books, This year I published this book here, Why Do We Become Sick? And it's in French, but eventually maybe it's going to be in English. But, and the conclusions I came with in this book that I wrote between 2005 and 2011 mostly are identical or equivalent to the conclusion that Hulda Clark came to in the 80s and early 90s. So it's very, for me, it's very relevant to talk about that, because it brings another angle to the understanding and the conclusion of my understanding with how I cured my body with regenerating nutrition and what I discovered in my body during the purification process. And let's just start with this very simple thing here. In my book, I say there are only two problems or two causes for all diseases. And the two causes are the denaturation due to pollution and the denaturation due to, deficiencies, food deficiencies, okay? And so basically these two things are the only thing that creates all the diseases. And so if you look at Hulda Clark, she says, I'm sure to find only two things wrong in anyone who has, different infertility, mental problems, or health problems in general. She will go on with that kind of conclusion later on. But she says, I'm sure to find only two things wrong. They have in them pollutants and or parasites. I never find lack of exercise, vitamin deficiencies, hormone levels, or anything else to be a primary causative factor. So the solution to good health is obvious. Problems, parasites, pollution, simplest cure. Well, she recommends our electronic device. We're going to talk about that, but I'm more in the herbal treatment for the first, I would say the first option. And pollution avoidance. This is all that my book I just showed you is all about. I name all the pollution I had to avoid and all I had to understood in order to sustain the regenerating process of my body. Okay, so basically, if we analyze her conclusion and reread more of her book, she's gonna say that the parasites only infest a host if there is pollution in an organ or a region of the body. The parasites don't stand a chance if the body is pure. Okay, and so this is why I never really became aware of the parasite problem, because I started my journey using the Herbal Fiber Blend recipe, which was the original recipe in 2004, one that you cannot find anymore. And this this product, I didn't understand all the 20, there were about 20 plants in that recipe, but I didn't understand the role of all these plants. And I remember when I took that product blindly in 2004, just by following my, I had a guidance at that moment, and it led me to that book and to many other books that changed my perception and that taught me how to invent something like regenerating nutrition and cure my body. But I was just following my guidance, and I knew at that moment, and I remember very well, I was taking that product and I knew that eventually I would have to understand all these plants. And that seemed overwhelming to me at the moment, but you know, today it's not overwhelming at all, and I understand way more than I did at that moment. But that allowed me to cure my body, and it's very interesting because one of the main ingredients in the original Herbal Fiber Blend is actually black walnut, like I showed you in the last video. This is like an early version of the Herbal Fiber Blend mix, and you can see that Junglass nigra, black walnut seed husk, is one of the most you know, present, or the highest amount of ingredient. It's the second most after the psyllium, basically. Okay, so it's the basic active ingredient, the main basic active ingredient of the original recipe of the Herbal Fiber Blend. And so without even knowing it, you know, I basically probably eliminated all the parasites while cleaning my colon and eliminating the waste material with the Herbal Fiber Blend and my 100-day raw diet. And so after that, I applied a very perfect discipline. As long as I kept that perfect discipline, I never had any problem, because I was keeping the balance and I was not absorbing too much pollution. Obviously, now 17 years later, I have been exposed to more pollution in different situations, because I have gone back to a more regular life and I did a bachelor degree. I went to teach at the CJEP level, which is like college. You know, I had to do to face some situation where I absorbed more pollution than I wanted to. It's very hard to control the sources of pollution. So so you know, this is just to say it's normal. My health cannot be perfect. It's not because you are aware and informed that you are always facing a perfect world and a perfect situation. You have to deal with the reality around you. But it's very good to be educated. So you get the idea. She comes out to the conclusion, or she came out to the conclusion, that pollution was the cause for parasite. So that's basically equivalent to my conclusion that pollution causes the disease. But she says the deficiencies, she's not saying they do not exist, but she says it's not a primary causing factor, and I totally agree with her. She says that right here. It's not a primary causative factor. I totally agree with her, because in the current world, North American, Europe, Asia, most people have enough to feed themselves. And if you have a diverse diet with fruit, vegetables, even if the food is very bad quality, the primary factor that causes disease normally is not deficiencies, though the protein deficiencies is normally the most dangerous or potent deficiency out there that people don't know about. But you know, for the majority of the health diseases, the deficiencies in vitamin minerals are irrelevant. Okay, most of them, you know. Of course, if you suffer from anemia, that's different. You're lacking iron, but it's very easy to solve that problem. You know the problem, and you can focus to solve that problem. But in, you know, cancer, AIDS, infectious disease, degenerative disease, it's very hard to find a cause. And so the cause is very simple. You have my experience, and you have my 17-year experimenting and curing uncurable diseases. Many people have applied my method. It worked on many uncurable diseases. And so, and I have 100% efficiency rate. Everyone that applies correctly the regenerating nutrition shows tremendous improvements and goes back to a normal life. So you have Hulda Clark that says the same conclusion as I do, and it's very I think it's very important to for you maybe to check out what Hulda Clark has to say in that book. It's very, very interesting, and she suggests building a zapper. And just to give you a little historic about the zapper, it's an electronic device that it's like 2 electrodes. You put your hands on it and you send in the body frequencies, and every frequency can target a different organism, for example a bacteria or parasite, because every living being has a frequency associated with it, a living frequency, you could say. And if you send the opposite signal to that frequency, you're going to kill the parasites, you're going to kill bacteria, you're going to kill the little bugs that are inside of you. And so this idea is not new at all. I mean, Nikola Tesla patented a device like this. It was, a first version of this kind of device. It came out in the early 1900s. Some of his devices are in museums or sometimes sold in auctions because they're getting rare, but you can find pictures of that device. So Nikola Tesla understood, the basic principle of how to interact with the health and the parasites. Maybe he didn't know so much about all of this, but certainly he understood the principle because he patented a machine that is very similar to a zapper. And then if you want to learn more about that, you can check out Dr. Rife, Raymond Rife, I think, Dr. Rife. I don't remember his first name, but Rife Machine, R-I-F-E. Check that man out. This is another guy that was completely deleted from history because he invented the cure for cancer, I think in the 50s or something, and very, very long time ago, okay? And so Hulda Clark is just a normal evolution of what had been done in a stream or strain of medicine that is hidden from the public, okay? But this is, I mean, if a person like Nikola Tesla was interested in that, it's because there is a matter of interest in that, okay? And so I invite you to check out the book of Hulda Clark if you have any disease. She has some very popular protocols in there. She has a protocol for the gallbladder stones, liver stones, the bile duct stones. You can eliminate that with our protocol, but I don't recommend you start with this kind of thing. You need to be healthy. You need to have a clean colon, good elimination system, healthy kidneys in order to do that flush, okay, of stone. Because if your system is jammed, doing that flush can be very harmful, okay, to say the least. So I never did it because I was too sick. I was too sick in 2004-05 to do that kind of thing. And afterwards, I've been very busy. But now as I'm, more into my self-sufficient lifestyle and building a little life in the forest and very simple, and my health is better, I plan on maybe trying it eventually. I don't know, okay? But this is an option that could be, if I feel eventually I need, I don't know, I don't feel like my liver passage are full of stones, but according to Hulda Clark, these stones can accumulate not only in the liver, they accumulate in your back. They can be behind your heart and cause heart problems or discomfort. And these things cannot be found by your typical blood checkups, or even it cannot be seen inside the blood vessels because these stones are in a system that is called the interstitium. And we're going to talk about the interstitium in another video, but if you want to know more about the interstitium, you should know that it was discovered officially in 2018 by the medical science, the naive science that we call, science. This system is basically something that has been known for thousands of years in, medical medicine, acupuncture, stuff like that. It all relies on this system. And so basically it's a system of tubes of that contains a high electrolytes, very rich in electrolyte substance liquid, and that connects all the organs to the colon, okay? And this system shares its canal with the bile ducts, so the liver bile ducts, okay? And so it's normal when you hear a person like Hulda Clark that says, you know, people have stones in their back. It's because the interstitium, you know, that connects to the liver, connects to the colon. It's all connected. So once it's blocked by a few stones, the stone just piles up, you know, and you feel like discomfort, you feel pain, you feel like muscular problems. But these are not muscular problems. They are deficiencies in the maintenance of your muscles. And the maintenance of your muscle cause the, you know, the tensions and the pain, because your body cannot repair it correctly because it needs to have that energetic liquid circulating. And I discovered that system in 2004 when I started to cure my body, because I could feel in my body the toxins being eliminated and transported to my liver and then to my colon. So I knew there was a system that was not known by science, and this is what I talked about in this book that I hope someday will be translated, okay? And so check out the interstitium. It was discovered in 2018. Gives you an idea how they don't know anything, you know, your doctor doesn't know anything about this, so he cannot help you if your interstitium is jammed. So Dr. Hulda Clark invented that very nice cure, but the link I want to be doing, and I want to show you a little video of Hulda Clark that says a lot about what I just said. We're gonna check that little video here, okay? And so the link is that I discovered basically the effect of the Herbal fiber blend, but I didn't know that at the basic of the Herbal fiber blend, Hulda Clark, her discoveries of the power of the green walnut hull to kill parasites and eliminate parasites is a knowledge that is included in the recipe of the Herbal fiber blend. So you see, I was not aware that Hulda Clark existed, but even if I was not aware, I benefited from her knowledge somehow, because someone else, probably Teresa Schumacher, knows about, you know, Hulda Clark. So I don't know because I'm not able to contact that person. But let's hear about Hulda Clark, and there are 2 or 3 very important things she says in that little 2-minute clips.
Food, and this will go into the book still, that kosher dairy products do not have these parasites.
Okay, look at this. Kosher dairy products do not have these parasites. So she was talking about parasites in food and dairy products. And now she says the kosher do not have the parasite. And look at what she's going to say next.
Which shows you it's a matter of cleanliness.
It shows you it's a matter of cleanliness. What I've been saying on my channel for years, you know, if you look in my history of video, I've been on YouTube for maybe 15 years now, I don't know. And what I've been saying is the purity of the food. This is what cures the body. You need to eat pure food, and there are problems like, for example, plastic contamination, VOC contamination, sewage sludge contamination, pesticide, chemicals, GMOs, you know, pig manure, one of the biggest problem, pig manure spread in the field. So these problems, they are underlined. When you hear someone tell you, it shows you that it's the matter of cleanliness. What she means by cleanliness, she doesn't mean to sanitize your food. She means how the food is produced, the purity of the food. And this is basically what I've been talking about since 2005 and in my first book on regenerating nutrition. It's critical to care not only about what you eat, but to care also about, you know, how it was produced. Because there are many hidden toxins in the food, okay? And this will create parasites. For example, I've been intoxicated in 2008 or 9. This is how my purification stopped. I've been intoxicated by peanut butter that I was eating on a regular basis. A little bit too much, I must admit. And it was organic. It was supposed to be good, you know? And I wasn't paying attention at that moment because I was living a stressful time. And, you know, it was intoxicated by sewage sludge, meaning it had grown in sewage sludge, okay? This is put in fields. Sewage sludge is basically all that you put down the toilet, all the solid matters. So it includes toothpaste, shampoo, soaps, you know, anything, with, you know, the shit of the people, and this creates a paste, kind of material. They put that in fields. Okay, in the US there are more than 20% of the fields that have received sewage sludge, and so when your food grows in that, it contains, you know, the pollution from the toothpaste, the soaps, and you know, human pollution that is eliminated in their shit and stuff. So I mean, if you eat this, you don't taste it. It's hard to taste all these pollution, but your body accumulates like tremendous amount of pollution. And after I've been intoxicated by this in 2008, 9, something like that, the end of 2008, I went to analyze my living blood, and in my living blood there were parasites. But these parasites were coming because I had been intoxicated by the sewage sludge, and I knew that at that time. So it's very hard to find clean food. Okay, I give many rules that will allow a person to cure his body with regenerating nutrition and to maintain a very healthy life and healthy states for many decades. Okay, and to cure many diseases over time. But if you are eating food that is not clean, like she's saying, like it shows you it's a matter of cleanliness, then I mean the parasites can, you know, infest you, and once you have the parasite, you start to feel like shit, and you have a lot more chances to have a disease like cancer. Okay, so let's see what is the solution according to Hulda Clark.
We now have all the people watching this squirming at home because they all think now, okay, I understand, I have parasites in my body, and we all do, according to your research.
We do.
So according to your research, you found that all humans have this, and as long as we're healthy, we're okay with it because the body can handle it. My next question to you is, how do we rid ourselves of these tenacious bacteria, parasites, and virus? Do you have an answer to that?
The answer that I came up with already in the first books was the hull of the black walnut tree, but the hull has to be green. There is something in the green hull that kills everything I ever tested for, which doesn't mean everything, but let's say close to 100 parasite varieties.
So you're telling me that in all of our pharmacology, all the millions of dollars spent with research in cancer, the native Indians who were using this hundreds of years ago already had the solution to cancer?
Those who were, yes, but I don't know how much folklore there is around this herbal product, and there are many other good herbal products out there. I'm sure there must be other things that can do the same thing.
But you found this to be the best product.
Yes, and now we have a freeze-dried product which is even more potent than the alcohol extract that we call a tincture.
So it's very interesting what she says. Basically, she says it's a black walnut hull that kills the parasite, and like I told you, when I started my journey, I didn't know nothing about plants' therapeutic effect, nothing. I just, like I said, I had a guidance, I was guided, I found, you know, this book with the guidance, and it turns out it had these ingredients in it, and I eliminated probably the parasite that were in my body, and it helped me a lot. Now, she said the hull needs to be green. This is very hard to find, because if you look online, you're gonna find like many websites that will sell black walnut hull powder, and it's gonna be black like this. There's this website here that I like. It's for Canadians though. I don't think they ship in US. But if you type here black walnut, you're gonna see once again it's not green, right? So she's talking about a freeze-dried product. So there are two options. One option is the alcohol extract. So basically you can find that in natural boutiques, and it's very hard to find that cold dried black walnut hull. I don't know where to find it, and it's probably very expensive. So you could use the alcohol extract. I think in the Herbal fiber blend that I took, probably it was just the black normal powder. I don't think it was green, but it's very hard to know, right? It was mixed with all the other plants. And so basically you have a little bit of my story. You have a little bit of how I invented and cured my body with regenerating nutrition. it started basically with natural plants and the work of people like Hulda Clark, which I had no idea existed prior to 2019. And if you want to cure your body, I would strongly suggest you can start by finding which one? This one. You can start by finding this book here. It's $3. The Kindle version is $3. I mean, this is nothing. Okay, I would go for that, and I don't sell that. Okay, it's just this is the book here. Okay, but this is the French translation that I bought, that my guidance led me to in 2004, and that showed me how to start my journey. Okay, and so it's a very small read. You can read that in an hour 30. It's just the beginning. Okay, and then from that, in my experience and my discipline and all that I've learned in other books, I created the Regenerating Nutrition model that has for a goal to prevent you from going back into the problems, health problems. Okay, it will continue your regenerating process and your curing process without purging you all the time, because you cannot live all the time by taking, herbal fiber blends or very powerful plants. You need to give a break to your organs, right? And this is why I invented Regenerating Nutrition. I needed something that was powerful enough to continue the purification regeneration process and the healing, but at the same time that was good for my body in the long term, So this is like, so I would say this is a very good starting point, and then maybe make a research on Google or any other search engine. You should leave Google, to be honest. Go on DuckDuckGo or ecosia.org. Leave Google behind, but do a search for the Cure for All Diseases.pdf. You're gonna find it because Hulda Clark has made her book and her stuff mostly available. You can find other videos about Hulda Clark, like this one where she gives a lot of tips. So I invite you to dig into that, and I hope this was useful. If you have any information you want to share with me about Hulda Clark, you have any questions about Regenerating Nutrition, don't hesitate. You can leave a comment, and please give a little like to this video so that more people can see it. Don't forget to subscribe while you're here, because I have more interesting stuff coming up. So thank you. Bye.